Okay, we're here. It's July 8th. This is Rock at Night, and we're with Sudden Suspension from Indiana, correct? You guys are from Indiana? I want to know everybody's name and what instrument you play.
I'm Brandon. I sing and play guitar.
I'm Blake, and I play bass.
I'm Griffin. I play the drums.
I'm Tyler, and I play the guitar.
Now, I was reading online you all have been together since 2013? You want to tell me about how this all evolved?
It kind of grew out of a band that I was in when I was really young. Once I started playing guitar, I think I was 12 or 13. I just got some friends together and just started writing, jamming with them. Went through a couple different guitar players, a couple different drummers, and then eventually I found Griffin, and we just started writing. And I guess that would have been 2013, and that's when the band kind of really started taking off and being a serious thing that we really cared about.
Now, you're only 19?
Yeah.
You're pretty young, but yet I listened to some of your songs, and they are pretty mature.
Well, thanks.
I mean, some of the topics that you like to write about, where does this come from? The topics.
I don't know. I guess I have issues, I suppose.
Don't we all?
Yeah, just to put it plainly, I've just had a hard time just with life, I guess. Not that I've had a hard life. I just between anxiety and just stuff like that. It helps a lot to really kind of pour out all those things that just really get to me, because it's an outlet to kind of help myself distract myself from all the anxiety and stuff that I have to deal with.
Do you guys feel the same way? Are you under stress, or do you have anxiety?
Oh yeah, I mean, we all definitely write off personal experience and stuff like that. It's kind of just like you said, an outlet. It's a way to just get rid of it. You know, you write your song and then it's done with, and it's out there for everybody else to feel too.
Well, let me ask you. You're from Indiana. Are you from a small town?
Me personally, I'm from Chicago, so I'm not. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
I am from a very small town.
Tell me about. Does that cause a lot of the anxiety?
I mean, yeah. Specifically, I didn't go to college. I wanted to focus on music. I didn't want to have to drop out to go on a tour or have to make a decision. I figured I'd just stick with music. And in a small town, I had a graduating class of 94 people. Pretty much everyone went to college. So kind of when everyone graduated, I kind of just ended up getting stuck in this small town, and all my friends moved away. And so it definitely doesn't help not really having your support group around you anymore. But the goal is to not live in a small town, hopefully forever. So
Isn't John Cougar Mellencamp from Indiana?
yeah.
And he has a song about being in a small town. That's why I wondered. Also, economically, how is that town? Do you think that affects the way you see life?
Definitely, in a small town like that, with cheaper housing and everything, it's a lot of lower class people.
Small town mind stays small.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. So growing up in that, you learn to really get by with what you have. Growing up somewhere like that, as opposed to like a nicer, more populated middle class neighborhood.
Do you think that's why you like to play punk music? Because it's kind of, anti-establishment, that, go against the system? Or you just happen to just like punk music?
I don't think we're really that type of band. I mean, that stuff's cool, but mostly just write about feelings and stuff like that.
The music kind of just comes organically, I guess. We all draw influence from a lot of stuff, obviously, but we're not trying to sound like anybody, or even if we do. But
Well, what kind of music did you listen to growing up?
me, I listen to I actually got started with a lot of jazz drummers, just because that's what my drum teacher was teaching me at the time. But then of course, in 8th grade, my favorite band was Green Day, and just stuff like that. But I listen to a lot of math rock bands and stuff now. So we all listen to all different stuff, but I think we mesh together well.
What do you like to listen to?
It's some stuff in vein of like Taking Back Sunday, Jimmy Eat World, like old emo bands from like the early 2000s is like really my niche, you know. That's about it.
Now, is this your first tour?
No, it's actually our 5th tour. So, yeah, been around a few times. So,
That's a lot of touring for a fairly new band.
They weren't all the longest tours. We did. They were all like 2-3 week runs in the past year, so nothing too strenuous.
Still, you're going across the country now. What were some of the places that you've been before here in Florida?
On this tour specifically, we kind of went, New England, and then came down south, and we're going west now towards back towards home. And earlier this year, was it this year or last year? Last year we went and toured all around Ontario, Canada, and that was really cool. That was probably my favorite run we've done.
yeah.
Is it hard getting into Canada?
I don't think it's hard as people make it out to be, but it definitely wasn't, it wasn't fun.
We might have just gotten lucky because they kind of just took we've heard stories of them taking hours looking through your stuff, making sure everything's okay, but they kind of just after 10 minutes were like, yeah, you guys are good to go. So I mean, I guess it might depend on the people or that you are running into that certain day, but yeah, it didn't seem to be that hard for us. So
be nice to law enforcement.
Well, with all the Homeland Security, it's not always easy. I'm from Detroit originally, and we would just use a driver's license to get across to Canada. That's all we needed. Now you have to have a passport and, all this high security. This album that's out, or is an EP or an album? EP.
Yeah.
Is this your first?
This is actually our 3rd EP. So
It's our first release on a label. So we self-released the first 2.
And what are the names of the first 2?
The first one is called Second Place. That was probably in 2013 that came out. Then later that year we put out... 2014 at the beginning. We put out a short one called Basement Songs, which is just 3 songs that kind of really quick and punchy. And then we waited a long time, almost, right? Probably about almost a year to put out these, and because we sat on the songs for a while, and then eventually we kind of worked out a thing with Bad Timing Records. Yeah.
What is your writing process? Do you all get together and write, or do you write, Brand?
Yeah. For the most part, I kind of come up with the basis for the song, the general. I write all the lyrics, and I kind of come up with the general lyrics and music for the song, and then I'll get together and we'll kind of piece together if we should put a bridge here, an intro or an outro, maybe cut a chorus, or just kind of arrange everything from what I wrote together.
As far as being in the music business or being a musician, what's the best thing about it and what's the worst thing?
Well, nobody has had free mashed potatoes at any of these shows like we requested, and that really grinds my gears.
Best and worst.
Best thing would have to be just when people say that they relate back to something I wrote. It's just because I think of why I make music, just because of all the artists that I think back that I related to that helped me through things when I'm having a tough time, and just to know that I can maybe kind of do that for someone else. And I guess as far as worst thing, I mean, the worst thing is tour, but also tour is great.
I'd just say sleeping in the van. That's probably the worst in the summer, because it's really hot when you wake up, but you're still really tired, so then you fall back to sleep, and then you wake up and it's even hotter. That's my least favorite part of touring.
There's probably mosquitoes too.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. We were in the Carolinas, there were cockroaches. That was cool.
Yeah.
So.
Woke up to Griffin in his underwear just hooting and hollering.
Yeah. It was hard. It was
Got a
it was
nasty
dangerous
sunburn yesterday.
experience.
That sucked too.
But it's great. It's great.
Have you tried any interesting foods or across the way?
We had the original buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York, and I was pretty excited on that. Yeah.
I've been there at the Anchor Bar in Buffalo. My husband's from New York, Buffalo. So
Nice, that's cool.
you put blue cheese on them?
Ranch. I'm a ranch guy. I might be shunned for that.
Okay. Same question. What's the best thing and the worst thing about being in the music business or being a musician?
Brandon took the best thing straight from my mouth. Like, it is seriously the best thing about it is having kids come up to you and say, like, your music helped me with this or that, and it's just like giving back to the music community, like, because it did so much for me in my youth, and you know that's just my main goal. And as for the worst thing, I mean,
It's the struggle.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad things about being in a band, honestly. Like, money, like, yeah, I would even say, like, the writing process of creating music, like, that's a trying process. Like, you break yourself down in that process and you question why you're doing it in the first place. Like, it's really trying, but at the end of the day, like, it's worth it.
Do you have sometimes blocks where you just can't think of any ideas?
Oh yeah, for months I've had blocks. There was like a year I just I just scrapped everything, and yeah, I mean it kind of depends. There are songs that'll click immediately, and there are songs that take so much work, you know, and it's just kind of the way it goes.
Probably, I would think the scariest thing about being a musician too is criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Have you dealt with situations where you were upset maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they get pretty feisty over there. But I don't know. I kind of like, to an extent, I kind of like the criticism because, well, like a lot of it is kind of just like BS. People kind of just being internet people. Sometimes there's a lot you can kind of take from that and think, well, there is some truth to what these people are saying. What can I take from that to kind of better what we're trying to do?
You realize on the internet, especially Facebook, there's a lot of haters that just want to bring people down.
Oh yeah.
No matter what, not how because they have a chip on their shoulder. or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Is
Yeah.
that the truth?
Oh, oh yeah.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're like slugs just laying around. You know.
Like rooted from jealousy, and like, you know, you have keyboard warriors, just like they can say all they want on the internet, but when you see them face to face, they won't talk. That's the way it goes. Yeah. Keeping it real. Keeping it real.